One thing that I do want to say right now while I've got the chance is Matt and I are going to put out a video here pretty soon of the last camping trip that we went on, and there's going to be some excerpts in the video that I kind of like to talk about real quick. You're going to see where Matt and I went out and we gathered a bunch of firewood for our fire for the weekend, and most of it was really big stuff. We're talking, you know, this size diameter to this size.
You might have seen the video of it all piled on the hood of my Jeep.
Yeah. The one point we want to come across with you guys on is those of you who are out there in the sticks using your, I'm going to just show Matt's knife real quick, using a survival knife to baton wood. Let's just say that you're in a true survival situation and this is the only survival tool you've got, and you think that because you saw some unnamed survival experts on their TV show out batoning wood and they're splitting this wood and they're doing their thing, yeah, they're not in a true survival situation because they got a whole camera crew with them, and somebody else has probably got that spare knife in case they break their knife to be able to hand into them. If you're in a true survival situation, this is the only survival tool you've got, don't be an idiot and baton wood. You're going to jack up the edge, you're possibly going to break it, and then you're going to be done.
Well, if you're going to baton wood, be wise with what kind of wood you're batoning.
Yeah, don't be batoning wood that's like this big around or bigger, or you know, the size of this pot, especially if it's like the guy who did a YouTube video with a cold steel Leatherman or Leatherneck, where he's batoning this really hard wood, looked like eucalyptus, looked like it had been seasoned for a long time, and anybody who's ever split wood, who knows how hard eucalyptus is, this guy's batoning this knife into the knots of this eucalyptus, and then he wonders why. He takes a crescent moon shaped chunk out of the blade. It wasn't meant to be done. It wasn't meant to be used for that. So in the video that you'll see of Matt and I camping, you can see that we have a roaring fire going, and some of the wood is damp from the weather. It was in the 20s and in the teens while we were up there. It was snowing, it was raining, so we had put the fire, we had built our fire, and then we put the wood around the campfire to dry it out. But if you're in an area where you're going to be collecting wood that's this diameter
or bigger,
or you know, this diameter or this diameter, you're going to find wood that's this diameter or even smaller, and you collect your kindling, you collect your medium-sized fuel, you collect your large fuel, and you start your fire with the small stuff to the medium stuff to the bigger stuff. And once you get your fire going, it doesn't matter if you've batoned your wood and you've split it, you can add it to the fire and it's going to catch fire and it's going to burn. So don't be ignorant.
don't insist on splitting big stuff into little stuff. If you can get a decent fire going, you can get it going good enough to catch the big stuff.
And having been a wildland firefighter for a number of years and fighting hundreds of wildfires throughout this state and many other states, I can tell you when wood catches fire, it doesn't matter if it's been split or not. It's going to burn. So just do yourself a favor and save your blade so that if you need it in your survival situation for skinning an animal, for gutting a fish, for making
Whittling
figure
stuff.
fours to trap food, if you need it to cut rope or anything else, you're going to be a little bit hard pressed if you wind up breaking your knife and you've got nothing to do that stuff with. Then you're going to go back to the primitive skills, and I hope you know how to flint knap. I hope you know how to make knives out of rocks, because that's the point you're going to be at, because you took the advice of some TV star and went out and batoned wood with a tool that's not made for it. That's my rant on that, so I'm going to take the camera from that.
Oh, one more thing too. If you are going to use, there are a few applications where batoning a piece of wood is doable. You've got to do it with the appropriate.
Let's say you're doing it.
There's an appropriate amount of batoning you can do on an appropriate size of wood. You don't have to beat the crap out of the spine of the blade. You watch, like Cold Steel's been demonstrating some of their stuff with batoning, and they're not wailing on it like
other guys we've seen on the internet.
They're not wailing on it like a maniac. They're giving it just a good little tap, you know, a little bankety bank. I mean, they're not love tapping it, but they're not, you know. I think you get what I'm trying to say. I'm getting irritated just thinking about people who don't understand this part. I mean, it seems so simple to me. Sorry if you were one of those folks. But anyways, maybe we should get off our soapbox and get on to some more, another
Well,
topic.
that brings me to another thing I want to say, because we talk a lot about cold steel, and a lot of people have sent us emails. I can think of 3 people right now who made accusations that, like, we're cold steel's bitches, was what one guy called us, because we talk about cold steel so much. It just so happens that we're friends with the guys from Cold Steel. They're our hometown shop. We go to their parking lot sales. We're involved with them outside of the shop. We buy our stuff from Cold Steel. It's not like these guys just welcome us in and say, hey, go take this and make a video and make us look great. They can do that all on their own.
We're having fun with so much of the stuff that we had from them already.
Exactly. But
where we kind of just,
one of the things
that did help us get a relationship going, though.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to say about it is something that Lynn and I and some of the other guys at the shop have talked about a few times. It's like, just because Cold Steel is world's sharpest and strongest knives does not mean they won't break if you screw around with them.
Even they don't claim that.
Craftsman Tools makes some of the world's greatest hand tools, but they still guarantee that their tools are, you know, they'll replace them if you break them, because they know that they'll break if you put too much force on them. Anything will break if you use it outside of its guidelines. And just because something is called a utility knife doesn't mean that it's used for cutting down trees. A utility knife could be anything from a razor blade used for cutting carpet to you know, a razor blade.
You could use it as a screwdriver. That doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Exactly. So just be very careful with your survival tools. I mean, it's one of those things where it's, you know, the best tool for what you're doing, and the best tool for splitting wood is always an axe or a hatchet
Or a wedge.
or a wedge or a machete, if that's all you've got, but not your survival knife. So enough on that rant. I'm gonna let Matt talk about his knife and the thing that he came up with, and we'll get you guys some more video soon.